of the thing I do with lives. Apparently, it helps me really kind of suss out my thoughts and document some of the ideas and processes that I have. So last night I was thinking about something that I wanted to create. Again, I'm a serial creator. Oftentimes these ideas are not good, but when they are good, they're great and they're very fulfilling and give me a lot of energy. And sometimes they suck. And sometimes they're just they just do not have any traction or momentum or any kind of real value at all, except for to me. And so the what I wanted to do, the next thing was the supplier salon, which is where we get people who have a lot of experience together to actually tackle difficult subjects and argue in the Oxford discourse. So like where we actually have like structured arguments and have points and counterpoints and have people argue major serious debates. And so it doesn't have to be serious or groundbreaking or crazy, but what my content is lacking is a dialogue, and it doesn't have a lot of storytelling involved. And so what I want to do is create something that helps people make their own decisions and build community at the same time. So, I'm wondering whether or not it should be like the fourth pillar of assets that I'm trying to create. Like one of them is who's my rep.net, and that creates SEO, searchability, and discoverability for brand reps. It's a little bit different than ProV and 750. I got that question yesterday. It's just who's my rep is much less formal, and it's much simpler to find. But if you look for a rep on ProV and 750, I believe that they are not necessarily in control of their own profiles. So that is the point of who's my rep. Now, the second pillar of that is knowledge, is delivering knowledge and creating a base of wisdom from people who have done this before, who are very good at it. And that is what the Supplier Summit is all about. And so the Supplier Summit is going to be, it has been, I mean, today's day 404 of the first ever Supplier Summit. And the point of that is to deliver knowledge as directly as possible, as concisely and as articulately as possible from people who know what they're doing. In the Supplier Summit, it's been about 80-20. It's been 80% trade, or 80% suppliers, and then 20% buyers. So we've divided up the content between each of them. It's short, snackable, about 30 minutes, and you can get a free ticket and consume all the content through the rest of the month at least. I'll probably extend that, to be quite honest with you, because what I've found is that the appetite is there for the information, but not for necessarily when we're producing it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a live conversation. It doesn't have to necessarily be a live presentation. So we may just actually pre-record everything the next time, just to alleviate some of the technical burdens. But we've been soliciting chats and trying to get people to get engaged, and it's just difficult because they have jobs, they have families, they have all that kind of stuff. And so we want to be, I want to be mindful of that and deliver something that's a little bit more appropriate next time. So this was my first time doing the summit, first time doing an online summit. I never realized how difficult it was going to be. But that's why you do things. You do things the first time the hard way, and then it gets easier after that. So this is day 4. Day 1, I was absolutely physically exhausted, just from consuming that much information, that much screen time, that much time of just putting out little tiny fires after fire. Like hopefully it didn't look like that on your end, but it was not easy, and it is not easy. Like there's a ton of content that I'm going to be breaking down. So we have about 20 hours of content at the end of this. And what I want to do is I want to break it down using a piece of software called Content Fries, which will transcribe it and then bring it down into individual little 45-second to a minute nuggets that people can consume. And so I want to deliver that to the presenters so that they can convey their knowledge in a way that's more consumable for the people that need it. And that's part of the value for the presenters in the Supplier Summit. So it's an enormous amount of work. Yes, I use automation. Yes, I use virtual assistants. Yes, I use lots of SaaS. Software as a service. I'm not sassy. I'm a little sassy, but yeah. So the idea is to present the knowledge in a way that is meaningful and actionable for people in context when they're ready for it, just in time. So yeah. So that's kind of the goal of the Supplier Summit, as opposed to who's my rep. And then the third pillar of that, like say it's a three leg stool, is is building the Brand Builder Mastermind. If you want to see a beta version of that, it's at brandbuildermastermind.com. I don't expect this video is going to drive a lot of traffic, but it's at brandbuildermastermind.com, and that is where we're going to be developing interactions between supplier reps with each other, and putting all the content and training available for members, and making it so that they can comment on it, and we can create some accountability. So that's based on a piece of software called heartbeat.chat, if you want to check that out. And what it does is it helps me pair people up with matching, and so people can kind of learn to mentor each other. And also we have like hot seats, which allows us to have, once a month somebody says these are my problems, and then the community comes together to help them solve that. And then another part of it is just like Friday fails. So we're gonna have a Friday fails section where people can talk about what they've failed on that week, and that again, that helps the community give some context and some place to help each other out if they've been in that particular scenario before. So it's all very community oriented. It's all about helping each other, because we just don't talk to each other. Like you can live in complete isolation as a supplier rep, as a brand owner, and not have talked to anybody else who's a brand owner for a very long time. And even if you do meet them at trade events and tastings, then you don't necessarily help each other out. And it's such a large cluttered space of tequilas, vodkas, gins, rums, whiskeys, and beers and wines, and that knowledge does not have to be lost on individuals. It can be shared and compounded, and help alleviate some of the bigger problems that entrepreneurial brand owners and their managers and their ambassadors have, which is there's just not enough time and the work is never done. So if you can have templates that show exactly what to do, or at least where to start from, so you don't have to start from zero every single time, then that is something that I want to build as part of the community. And so it doesn't have to be proprietary, it doesn't have to be competitive, but if you share this kind of information, then that gives people a massive leg up. So the thing about Heartbeat, though, is that it would replace things like Slack. It replaces things like WhatsApp. It's got a chat function. It's got a course function. It's got a bunch of different things that are all integrated. So that's why I'm curious whether or not I need Discord. And a friend of mine, Logan, I interviewed him for Who's My Rep. He is a Discord expert, and he was like, dude, we can get this on Discord and monetize it and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, do we need this? So I think that my limitation here is my understanding of what Discord does and how it works. Because every time I've tried to use it, especially when I'm getting involved in crypto and stuff like that, for some reason it's like big with the tech community. I just don't understand it well enough to be able to embrace it, which is irritating because I love to go very, very deep on marketing automation and techie stuff, but I guess this is kind of beyond my understanding right now. I need somebody to hold my hand and walk me through it. So I'll be leaning on Logan to do that. A question I got was, how did I get into the liquor business, and why did I end up here? I got into the liquor business because I was a drummer in New York, and I had to bartend to make money to survive, and I wasn't good enough of a drummer to make it in New York as a session player or as a nightly gig worker. There's no money in the nightly gigs anyways. I would have had to have a day job if I worked nights. But I ended up loving the bartender lifestyle, and just had the same. Just ended up loving the bartender lifestyle, and I was always entrepreneurial. I always wanted to have my own business, and so I just started working my way through the ranks as a bartender, working at nicer and nicer places. I put a lot of intensity into learning how to make drinks, how to build community in a smaller sense, but I never was a particularly creative bartender, and so my creativity lived elsewhere, like as in producing large-scale events, and in helping people build their bars and train their bartenders. So I became a very good trainer, and I just eventually went to where the needs were. And to this day, I still am very much excited about the things that are the biggest problems in individual businesses, because I believe that small business is the backbone of this economy, of this country. I believe that by helping a business, that I'm helping the community, and it just gives me a lot of energy to train bartenders and to come up with creative ideas to get people into bars and restaurants. So that's where JLOS came from, which is a sales and marketing operating system for bars and brands, and that is a almost completely automated way to engage your customers, re-engage them, nurture them, close them, and offer them services and products. So that's kind of some backstory there. Today, I'm looking forward to day 4 of the Supplier Summit. I will be excited when this is over, but my favorite thing is coming up in a couple minutes. It's actually Chris Maffeo. I'm looking forward to his talk because I've interviewed him twice. Once for one bad idea I had, which was the Restaurant Marketing League. It's still out there if you want to find it. That was intended to get bar consultants and service providers together. But I ended up folding that into Who's My Rep, which also serves consultants and hospitality service providers. So I've interviewed him twice. He's a really, really smart guy, really great brand builder, dynamic presenter. And so he's going to be on in less than an hour, and I'll be watching his presentation, which I saw a couple days ago, and it is awesome. It's good to look at, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. He's an MBA. He's done a lot of stuff and built a lot of big beer brands. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I canceled my talk today about how to organize your time for maximum efficiency because I don't have the bandwidth, and it didn't really get a lot of attention. So I may end up doing something like that down the road. If you want to see that, I will do that. I'll just make a YouTube video of it so you can see what I was going to do. But a lot of it revolved around organizing your time into revenue generating activities, and then also balancing your time so that you're not completely stressed out all the time. So I have a bunch of different things that I do every day that I just make sure I do. This is now one of them, by the way, making a YouTube video, because this helps me suss out what I'm going to be doing in my daily email. And so I'll write a snippet of something that I've gained clarity on in this talk right now. And then put that into like a 1 or 2 sentence thing for my email newsletter, which goes out every day. And then also my podcast goes out every single day as well. And they're typically 1 minute. And those are usually repurposed audio from a TikTok that I made. So I'll do this. I'll make a TikTok. And then I will go on about my day. And I will let the robots do their work. And I will let all the things flow out. But having these daily chats is a lot faster for me than writing a journal, although I do that, especially when I get stressed out. I do a little bit of language training on Duolingo. Just a note on that. One thing that I really love about Duolingo is that it keeps you coming back for more. It's a gamified experience, and it just puts you into a little bit of competition with the people around you, which I think is very, very smart. So that's the kind of element that I want to bring to the Brand Builder Mastermind. And I'm just looking forward to building it out and seeing what the appetite is, because I'm not going to do it I'm going to do it no matter what. And I'm going to build the MVP because I'm excited about it. So I'm not the kind of person that's just like that looks around and says, what does the world need? What would people be willing to pay for it? I'm like, this is what I believe the world needs. This is like the complete wrong way to do this, by the way, but I'm just like, I don't know what the world needs, but I'm going to build this because I'm excited about it. And typically it's like all the stars align, the pieces come together, where I'm like, okay, well, I've got this piece of software, which I probably got from AppSumo, by the way. I don't like paying monthly licenses for stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I connect this piece of technology with what a perceived need is that I believe right now, and so that's where the Supplier Summit came from. That's where Who's My Rep came from, and that's where all of my future things are going to come from. Is the next thing I was thinking about was, I think I was talking about the Supplier Salon, where we actually have an organized debate, and that's the next thing for me. Now, I believe that so in Who's My Rep, the Facebook group, the engagement gone down it went down dramatically. And so I'm not really sure if that's because of the algorithm. I'm pretty sure it's because of the algorithm. But in the beginning, it was like really fast, quick growth. Like as we were at 1,000 members, I think in the first 2 weeks, and then it went down. Now it's been like 6 weeks, and now it's about 1,300 people are in there. We're getting a steady stream of about 2 or 3 people, up to 5, 10 people a day. But the prevailing logic for these kind of things is that you drive traffic to them, drive traffic with paid media to the Facebook group to get people to sign up, and then you sell them things from the inside. I don't want to offer things for any more than people are able or willing to pay, and so that's the reason the Facebook group is free. Obviously, it's Facebook. I mean, they're harvesting your data. They say that if you're not paying for it, then you are the product. But Who's My Rep has a paid option, but there's a free option that everybody signed up for. There's a paid option for improved search results, but that doesn't really make any sense until we have thousands of people on there. And then there's the Brand Builder Mastermind, which for me is going to take an enormous amount of work. So I'm going to charge for that. It'll be about $100 a month probably, which is something that's attainable. It's not so crazy that serious brand builders can't afford it, but it's not so high that it's a massively exclusive club, because I want a diversity of experienced people and less experienced people. And so about these talks, like I have no idea what the value is for you, but it's I hope that you get something out of this, because I get something out of this, and it's just like dumping out my thoughts, and it gives me clarity on the day. So also, I think I could probably I could download this from YouTube using a YouTube ripper. Look for download YouTube video for free on Google, and you'll find 10 services that'll help you download this, and then take little 1-minute snippets of it, and then turn that into a TikTok, a reel, a YouTube short, the whole thing. So so I've got like so much content that I have to organize and put into actionable nuggets, because people have no attention span anymore. Like literally, you can't get people to watch things for a minute. So having you here for 17.5 minutes it would be astonishing to me. I would be very surprised if you put the word garbanzo bean in the chat or in the comments. I will find something nice to do for you for having sat through this entire thing. But yeah, so that's it for today. I'm going to prepare for Chris Maffeo's talk on the Supplier Summit. He's a really, really smart guy. Just as all of our presenters have been smart, from Diana Edelman was the very, very first presenter at the very first Supplier Summit, and then Luis Hernandez from Plum, Ume Plum is going to be the last presenter of the Supplier Summit. So the next one is going to be probably next year, and by that time I will have plenty of wisdom to make it better, faster, and more meaningful for you. Okay, thanks y'all. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you at the Supplier Summit.